I want you to imagine something for a moment. It's the middle of the night. You're finally comfortable in bed after a long day, when suddenly you wake up with an urgent need to use the bathroom. Again. You just went an hour ago. You shuffle half awake down the hall, and as you stand there, you realize it's taking forever to start. And when it finally does, it feels incomplete. You go back to bed, but you know you'll be up again soon. For millions of men, this is more than a small annoyance. It's the daily reality of an aging prostate. But here's the thing most people don't realize. Many of the foods you eat every single day could be quietly making it worse. And removing them could mean fewer bathroom trips, better comfort, and yes, even a healthier prostate as you age. Today, as your source for proven senior health guidance, I'm going to walk you through what science tells us about the surprising dietary triggers that can silently strain your prostate over time, and what you can do instead. Before we go further, I want to make something very clear. This isn't about fear-mongering or making you feel guilty over the foods you enjoy. It's about understanding the relationship between what you put on your plate and how it affects one of the most overlooked yet important glands in the male body. Think of me as your health ally, here to give you the truth in plain language, backed by decades of clinical observation and current research. And if you stick with me until the very end, I'm going to share a practical, low-cost tip that has helped many of my patients reduce inflammation, restore urinary comfort, and even boost their energy in ways they didn't expect. Let's start with something so familiar, it might be in your refrigerator right now: processed red meats. Foods like bacon, sausages, hot dogs, deli meats, and certain packaged beef snacks are convenient and flavorful, but they come with a hidden cost. They are often packed with chemical preservatives such as nitrates and nitrites, which in the body can be converted into compounds linked to inflammation and even cellular damage. Your prostate is a small gland, roughly the size of a walnut in younger men. But it's highly vascular, meaning it's rich in blood supply. Anything that increases inflammation in the bloodstream can affect it quickly. Think of the prostate like a sponge inside a narrow tube. When inflammation hits, it swells, and even a small amount of swelling can press against the urethra, making urination more difficult and uncomfortable. High-heat cooking methods, like grilling or frying processed meats, create even more harmful compounds that your body has to fight. Over time, this constant irritation can keep your prostate in a state of low-grade inflammation, which not only causes discomfort, but may also contribute to more serious long-term issues. If you enjoy meat, fresh cuts of beef, chicken, or fish prepared at lower temperatures with herbs and spices, rather than chemical seasonings, can give you the flavor you love without the same level of risk. Now, let's move to something that has become almost unavoidable in modern life: sugary drinks. Most people think of soda when they hear the word sugar, but sweetened iced teas, flavored coffees, energy drinks, and so-called sports beverages can be just as bad, sometimes worse. They deliver a rush of simple sugars that spike your insulin and trigger systemic inflammation. Over time, high sugar intake can lead to insulin resistance, and while we usually think about that in terms of diabetes, it can also impact your prostate. That's because insulin and other metabolic hormones influence cell growth and repair. When blood sugar is constantly high, it can disrupt your body's hormonal balance and create oxidative stress in the urinary tract. In men over 50, whose hormone levels are already shifting, this imbalance can amplify prostate sensitivity. I've worked with men who saw remarkable changes in just a month after cutting back on sugary beverages, not just in prostate comfort, but in energy levels, waist size, and even mood stability. Hydrating with water, herbal teas, or fruit-infused water can support your prostate without adding fuel to the inflammatory fire. Alcohol is another dietary factor that deserves serious attention. While moderate consumption, like an occasional glass of red wine, might not pose a major problem for most men, frequent or heavy alcohol use can directly irritate the prostate. Beer, in particular, contains phytoestrogens, plant-based compounds that can shift the balance between testosterone and estrogen in a man's body. This hormonal disruption can contribute to prostate tissue changes. On top of that, alcohol is dehydrating, which means your urine becomes more concentrated with substances that can irritate the bladder and prostate. For someone already dealing with nocturia, waking up multiple times at night to urinate, even moderate drinking in the evening can make the problem worse. I've seen men go from waking 3 or 4 times a night to just once by limiting alcohol to rare occasions and avoiding it completely in the hours before bed. Dairy is a tricky one because it has been part of dietary guidelines for decades. While small amounts may be fine for some men, research has suggested that high intake of certain dairy products, especially whole milk and high-fat cheeses, may increase the risk of prostate complications. One reason could be their effect on insulin-like growth factor 1, IGF-1, a hormone involved in cell growth and division. Elevated IGF-1 levels have been linked to the growth of prostate tissue, both healthy and abnormal. Another possibility is that saturated fats in dairy contribute to inflammation. Men who are sensitive to dairy may notice bloating, congestion, or increased urinary urgency after consuming it. I often recommend an elimination trial. Switch to plant-based alternatives for 4 weeks and monitor any changes in urinary comfort or nighttime bathroom visits. Some men discover they feel lighter, less bloated, and more monitor any changes in urinary comfort or nighttime bathroom visits. Some men discover they feel lighter, less bloated, and more in control. Fried foods are another common culprit. The golden, crispy coating we love is often the result of cooking in oils at very high temperatures, which produces trans fats and advanced glycation end products, or AGEs. These AGEs are compounds that can damage cells and promote chronic inflammation throughout the body. Since the prostate gland has limited space to expand, even mild inflammation can cause it to press against the urinary tract, leading to weak flow, dribbling, or urgency. Fried foods also tend to be low in beneficial nutrients, meaning they fill you up without giving your body the tools it needs to repair and protect itself. Simple swaps, like baking, steaming, or air frying, can dramatically reduce your exposure to these harmful compounds, while still letting you enjoy satisfying textures and flavors. Caffeine is one that surprises many men. Coffee, tea, and certain sodas are staples in many people's daily routines, and in moderate amounts, they can be fine. The problem comes when caffeine intake is excessive or poorly timed. Caffeine is a diuretic, which means it increases urine production. It also stimulates the bladder muscles, which can lead to a more frequent and urgent need to urinate. For men with an enlarged or sensitive prostate, this can be a recipe for restless nights and disrupted days. Energy drinks are especially problematic because they combine caffeine with high sugar, creating a double strain on your system. Reducing caffeine in the afternoon and evening, or switching to decaffeinated options later in the day, can significantly reduce nighttime bathroom trips and improve sleep quality. Lastly, we have spicy foods. Dishes heavy with chili peppers, hot sauces, and strong seasonings can be delicious, but they can also irritate the bladder and the tissues surrounding the prostate. For men already experiencing inflammation or swelling in this area, spicy foods can intensify discomfort, increase urgency, and prolong recovery time from flare-ups. While occasional spicy meals may be fine for some, it's worth paying attention to whether your symptoms worsen after eating them. Keeping a food journal for a few weeks can help you spot patterns you might otherwise miss. The challenge is that these foods often work together to create a cumulative effect. A weekend barbecue with processed meats, beer, and spicy sauces might not cause noticeable discomfort immediately, but repeat that pattern regularly and your prostate will likely let you know. The key is awareness, not perfection. So, what can you do starting today? First, identify which of these foods show up most often in your routine. You don't need to overhaul everything at once. Instead, remove or reduce one major offender for a few weeks and see how your body responds. This approach makes it easier to stick with changes and gives you clear feedback on what's helping. You may notice fewer bathroom trips, a stronger urine stream, less urgency, and better sleep. And remember, these benefits often extend beyond prostate health. You may find your digestion improves, your energy steadies, and your overall inflammation markers go down. I've seen men in their 60s, 70s, and even 80s regain a level of comfort and confidence they thought was gone for good, simply by making gradual, targeted changes to their diet. They discover they can still enjoy flavorful, satisfying meals. They just prepare them differently and choose their ingredients more carefully. Your prostate may be small, but it has an outsized impact on your daily comfort and long-term well-being. Treat it with care, and it will return the favor. The conversation about prostate health is often framed as something that starts when trouble begins. When nights are interrupted by multiple trips to the bathroom, when urination becomes slow and hesitant, or when an underlying medical exam brings unwelcome news. But in reality, the health of this small walnut-sized gland is being shaped every single day by what you eat, drink, and allow into your body. The patterns of inflammation, hormonal shifts, and tissue stress that eventually produce symptoms often begin years before a man realizes anything is wrong. What emerges clearly from the earlier discussion is that the modern diet is not neutral for the prostate. Many of the most common foods and drinks in our kitchens and restaurants have a direct line to the mechanisms that control swelling, irritation, and tissue growth in this gland. They influence hormone levels in ways that can promote overgrowth. They keep inflammatory signals humming in the background, and they interfere with the smooth, unobstructed function of the urinary tract. This isn't a vague, slow-motion process. For many men, it's a daily cycle of irritation and recovery, repeated again and again until the body simply can't keep pace. The prostate is uniquely vulnerable because of its anatomy. Wrapped snugly around the urethra, it has no space to expand without causing a problem. Even minor swelling can press on that urinary channel, making it harder for the bladder to empty and increasing the urge to go. Unlike muscles or skin that can stretch to accommodate swelling, the prostate's position means that pressure and obstruction show up quickly. That's why even modest dietary improvements can sometimes feel like a relief valve being opened, reducing the constant squeeze and restoring a sense of normalcy. One of the more subtle but profound themes running through the earlier material is the way food choices influence hormones. Testosterone, its more potent cousin dihydrotestosterone, and even small amounts of estrogen all have roles in how prostate cells grow and function. Diets heavy in certain fats, refined sugars, or alcohol can upset the natural balance, creating an environment where the prostate grows more easily or becomes more susceptible to cellular changes. At the same time, these same dietary patterns can slow the body's detox processes, allowing irritants and waste products to linger longer, further stoking inflammation. It is also important to recognize that the harm isn't always coming from a single meal. The more common pattern is repeated exposure: a processed meat sandwich for lunch, a soda in the afternoon, fried food in the evening, and a couple of beers to unwind. No one of these alone will destroy the prostate, but together, day after day, they maintain a baseline of irritation that the gland never truly recovers from. The tissue remains slightly swollen, the immune system is slightly activated, and the delicate hormonal balance is nudged further away from ideal. Over time, these small nudges accumulate into persistent problems. The positive side to this is that the prostate responds well when given a chance. Removing or reducing the foods and drinks that keep it inflamed allows the tissue to return closer to its natural size, improving urinary flow and reducing that uncomfortable sense of urgency. Men who make these changes often report sleeping better because they wake less during the night, having more energy during the day, and even experiencing improvements in mood and mental clarity, benefits that go beyond the prostate itself. This is because the same foods that inflame the prostate tend to inflame other systems as well, particularly the cardiovascular and metabolic systems. Reducing dietary irritants can lower overall inflammation, improve blood flow, and stabilize blood sugar, which in turn helps energy levels and focus. The journey toward a calmer, healthier prostate doesn't have to be abrupt or extreme. In fact, sudden dietary overhauls tend to be short-lived. The more effective approach is gradual and deliberate, focusing first on the habits that cause the most harm and replacing them with alternatives that still satisfy taste and texture cravings. Over time, these new habits become routine, and the old, problematic foods lose their hold. For many men, this slow and steady process leads not just to better urinary health, but also to weight loss, improved digestion, and fewer inflammatory aches and pains throughout the body. The beauty of dietary change is that it works with the body's own repair mechanisms. There is no drug that can exactly replicate the combination of reduced inflammation, improved hormone balance, and enhanced tissue resilience that comes from consistently eating in a way that supports the prostate. And unlike medications, which can bring side effects, the side effects of dietary improvements tend to be welcome. Better sleep, lighter mood, and more stable energy. In reflecting on all of this, it becomes clear that prostate health is not an isolated goal. It is part of the broader picture of whole-body wellness. The same foods that keep the prostate calm also protect the heart, keep blood vessels flexible, and help regulate blood sugar. The same habits that inflame the prostate also inflame arteries and joints. Seen this way, dietary changes are not simply about avoiding discomfort or dodging a diagnosis. They are about building a body that can age gracefully, maintaining function and comfort well into later life. Ultimately, the earlier sections offered more than just a list of foods to avoid. They revealed a relationship between daily choices and one of the most sensitive glands in the male body. Every meal is a chance to either stir up trouble or promote calm. Every drink is an opportunity to hydrate and nourish or to dehydrate and inflame. These small decisions, repeated hundreds of times a year, shape the environment your prostate lives in. And while you can't rewrite your genetic code or stop the passage of time, you can dramatically influence how your body responds to both. Starting with what's on your plate, the relationship between diet and prostate health is a critical aspect of men's well-being, particularly as they age. While some foods can support prostate health, others can exacerbate problems, leading to discomfort, inflammation, and potentially even more severe issues. Understanding the connection between diet and prostate health is essential for making informed choices that support overall well-being. The prostate gland plays a vital role in the male reproductive system, and its health can be influenced by various factors, including diet. Certain foods can trigger inflammation, disrupt hormonal balances, and contribute to the development of prostate issues. Processed red meats, sugary drinks, alcohol, dairy products, fried foods, caffeine, and spicy foods are among the common dietary culprits that can harm prostate health. The cumulative effect of repeated exposure to these foods over time can lead to persistent inflammation, hormonal imbalances, and tissue stress, ultimately contributing to prostate problems. However, making informed dietary choices can have a significant positive impact on prostate health. By reducing or eliminating foods that can cause harm and incorporating nutrient-rich foods, individuals can reduce inflammation, support hormonal balance, improve urinary health, and enhance overall health. One of the most critical aspects of supporting prostate health is understanding the role of inflammation. Chronic inflammation can lead to tissue damage and increase the risk of prostate problems. Foods that trigger inflammation, such as processed meats and sugary drinks, can exacerbate this issue. On the other hand, foods that are rich in antioxidants and omega-3 fatty acids, such as fatty fish and leafy greens, can help reduce inflammation and support prostate health. In addition to reducing inflammation, a healthy diet can also support hormonal balance. Hormonal imbalances can contribute to prostate problems, and certain foods can disrupt the body's natural hormonal balance. For example, foods high in sugar can lead to insulin resistance, which can disrupt the body's natural hormonal balance. On the other hand, foods that are rich in fiber and nutrients, such as whole grains and fruits, can help support hormonal balance and reduce the risk of prostate problems. Staying hydrated is also essential for supporting prostate health. Drinking enough water can help flush out toxins and reduce the risk of urinary problems. Additionally, incorporating anti-inflammatory foods, such as berries and leafy greens, can help reduce inflammation and support prostate health. Choosing whole foods, limiting harmful foods, and monitoring the body's response are also practical tips for supporting prostate health. Whole foods, such as fruits, vegetables, and whole grains, provide essential nutrients and fiber that can help support prostate health. Limiting harmful foods, such as processed meats and sugary drinks, can help reduce the risk of prostate problems. Monitoring the body's response to different foods can also help individuals identify potential triggers and make informed choices. By understanding the impact of diet on prostate health and making informed choices, men can take control of their health and reduce the risk of prostate problems. A healthy diet can help mitigate risks, and the benefits of dietary changes can extend beyond prostate health, supporting overall well-being and quality of life. In fact, a healthy diet can have a significant impact on overall health, reducing the risk of chronic diseases and improving overall quality of life. In conclusion, the relationship between diet and prostate health is complex, but by making informed choices, individuals can support their prostate health and reduce the risk of prostate problems. By understanding the role of inflammation, hormonal balance, and hydration, individuals can make informed choices that support their overall health and well-being. By incorporating nutrient-rich foods, limiting harmful foods, and monitoring the body's response, individuals can take control of their health and enjoy better health and well-being as they age. By viewing prostate health as an everyday project rather than a last-minute rescue mission, you give yourself the best possible odds of avoiding long-term problems. The path is straightforward, the effects are tangible, and the rewards extend far beyond the bathroom door. In the end, the food you choose is not just fueling your day, it's shaping the future of your health. And that's a truth worth acting on now, not later. Before we wrap up, I promise to share a simple tip that has helped many of my patients. It's this. Focus on hydration and anti-inflammatory foods in combination. That means drinking enough water to keep your urine pale yellow and including foods like berries, leafy greens, tomatoes, fatty fish, and nuts in your diet regularly. This combination supports your urinary tract, reduces oxidative stress, and gives your body the raw materials it needs to repair and protect prostate tissue. It's not about one magic food or supplement. It's about creating an environment where your prostate can thrive. I hope you found this helpful and that it encourages you to take small, meaningful steps toward better health. If you did, please like this video, subscribe for more, and share it with someone who could benefit. And stay tuned, right here, your source for proven senior health guidance, for more ways to protect and strengthen your health at every stage of life.